So by now, most of you have indeed heard the news that Jimmy Dore is no longer with TYT. He let me know this about a month and a half ago that he had left. But it was like not a public thing yet, and I didn't want to talk about the details of it until he discussed it, because a lot of people have been speculating at this point. But I did want to, address it. First, I want to say huge congratulations to Jimmy. For those of you who don't know, being part of a quote unquote YouTube network, whether it's TYT or anything else for that matter, it isn't just TYT. You can have a lot of success, right? Because that's what a network is supposed to help you with. And like Jimmy said, he credited TYT and the exposure that he got from TYT with a lot of his recent success. Taking off on YouTube in ways that it's unbridled. We haven't seen anything like this in the progressive world, where a person jumps up to 500,000 subscribers from merely having about 15,000 in less than 2.5, 3 years. That's insane. But he credited a lot. I mean, of course, his efforts are the reason why, but the initial exposure came from TYT. So we thank them, but there's a price that comes with that. And a lot of people don't know this. You have to give a percentage of whatever you make from YouTube. Like he talked about in his video, TYT owned that page. He had to cut them a check to buy that page back. I don't know if y'all know how businesses work, but the check wasn't small. He was pissed. I mean, he had to do that, but he wasn't happy. He was not happy about it. And mind you, whatever percentage he has to give to TYT, or he had to give to TYT, that was after YouTube took 45% of whatever he makes. So every YouTuber, 45% of whatever we make from ad revenue goes back to YouTube. We don't even see most of it, or we do see technically most of it, but it's barely 50%. 55% is what we get. Now, why am I mentioning this? Well, Jimmy Dore does something for the progressive movement that I think goes undiscussed regularly. A lot of people probably believe that Jimmy's just kind of handling business. He has a lot of volunteers. And no, Jimmy does something that our progressive movement has needed for quite some, like the real actual left, like I like to call it, the actual left, that's never come from the mainstream, that's never bought into the mainstream narratives. He provides an economy. Okay. Ron works with and works for Jimmy. Jimmy, his producer, which nobody knows, and I'm not going to put his name out there because I don't think he wants anybody to know, like the guy, he's a behind the scenes kind of guy, was an intern. Jimmy now employs this producer full time. So whereas a lot of people have producers that work for them as interns, which there's nothing wrong with that because most of the progressive movement isn't pulling the numbers that Jimmy pulls. He actually is providing an economy for people to do what they love to do best, whether it's comedy, whether it's broadcasting, whether it's production, whatever they love to do best. They get to incorporate those skills to the benefit of the progressive movement. So he was hemorrhaging at probably between 10 to 20% a month, I imagine, because that's generally what TYT and other YouTube networks take, in addition to the 45% you lose to YouTube. And even though he still makes a good amount of money afterwards, even for, like I said, he takes care of Ron Placone, he takes care of his producer. Stephanie quit the job, officially became part of the Jimmy Dore show full time. So that takes the like, and then he provides platforms to others. He provided a platform to myself. Y'all know how my relationship with TYT was, right? I've never been shy about calling them out. I've never been shy about naming names. I've never been shy about defending my friend, Jimmy. I'm never really shy about defending my friends. But Jimmy's case with TYT was a little bit more rocky. And despite all that, knowing what I've said and how I felt about TYT and some of their journalists there, Jimmy still invited me onto his show personally. And I've always had and of course, I benefited from that. And I've always had a great deal of respect for him there. Jimmy was definitely exhausted. And he made a lot of good friends at TYT, but dealing with, everything that was going on, constantly being berated by some of the employees at TYT, attacked by people that he once called friends because all he was doing was asking for the truth and demanding accountability and integrity of the network that he worked for. So him leaving was good. I think that we honestly should see a more lighthearted, more fun-loving version of Jimmy because of the stress of not being a part of TYT. But overall, there have been a lot of inspirations to me personally. Tim Black being one of them. Shout out to him. Some people offline that you all probably never heard of and don't know about because they choose to stay behind the scenes. But Suzanne Murphy, another one. Ron Placone, put me on stage with him and Graham Elwood. Just obviously Tulsi. If y'all don't know, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi reached out to me a while ago, or made it known to me that she wanted my help, and that was before anybody knew what my platform was going to become. And so just like Tim, just like Tulsi, just like Jimmy, Ron, and Jimmy is just another one of those inspirations to me of how to do this broadcasting thing the right way. Bringing people onto his live shows, bringing guests on. Every time I'm in town, we've met up, or when, last time I was there and I was near his live show, got me in for free. We hung out together. The guy is a class act. And so, he took a hit when he left TYT, at least temporarily. And like I said, he does employ people. He employs it out of his garage. It's still his garage in his backyard, but he's in LA and he employs people, and he just took a huge hit. So what I'm asking everyone to do, go, if you are already a patron to the Jimmy Dore Show, go increase your, by $1. If every one of his supporters even increased it by $1, I think he has almost 4,000 patrons. And he has 500,000 subscribers. So if every one of you all increased your support by $1, just $1, that would be more money that could go back in to the progressive economy that Jimmy Dore helps contribute to. And also, it's just a way of showing gratitude and appreciation. It's just because the guy is, he's a pioneer in a lot of ways. He's a pioneer, broke off from TYT, challenged them to their, challenged them regularly, used their platform to critique them. That's that's pretty big. It's a pretty big deal. So, increase it. If you're not a patron, I encourage you to become one. Because if we don't put our money where our mouth is when it comes to celebrating some of our progressive leadership and some of our progressive voices, then we can't be surprised when we get beat out by people with bigger money or more money who are trying to take down. I think it's that simple. We have to be able to put our money where our mouth. $1, $2, $3, $4. It doesn't matter. But just show that you're invested in this movement. And I promise you'll start seeing the returns, whether it be with your favorite broadcaster, whether it be with your favorite politician, whether it be with some initiatives that you support. Instead of getting that double cheeseburger that month or that, save $1 a day. Not everybody can do that, which of course I understand. If you save $1 a day or 50 cents a day, and then set that to be, what was it, 52 weeks in a year? Set that to $1, $2. Okay, this is what I'm gonna donate to my favorite broadcaster or to my favorite couple of broadcasters every month. This $2. It matters. Like I said, that's why Jimmy is able to employ people. That's why one day I hope to be able to employ people, because we need a progressive economy. Like, that's one thing we're lacking. I think that Jimmy has done a very good job setting the example there, and he will never brag about it. He will never brag about it, and he doesn't brag about a lot of things that has happened behind the scenes that you all don't know about, opportunities that he has passed up because he believes that it would be propping up the establishment. So please go to Jimmy Dore's Patreon. If you are already part of Jimmy, increase it. If you're not, become a patron. Thank you, Jimmy. Congratulations once again. And shout out to all the other independent broadcasters who have, been fighting the good fight over the last 2 to 3 years, are finally starting to see some of the benefits of it. And keep pushing. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's a little faint, but we're getting there. So, people, with that being said, always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. Thanks for watching that segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Don't forget to join us on Roku and catch our Roku exclusives. Also, help us reach our goal of 500 patrons on Patreon. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and JustNForm.com. But more than anything else, always remember, find your balance. Peace.